And welcome back to the website C+Comedy. Nope. Welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. Hold on, give me a second. Welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website C+Comedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Back to using the Yeti on the stand it came with. Like a friggin' idiot. This is episode 190, I think. I don't know, 189, 190, one of those. Let's go to a conference. Let's open the file folder to get some confirmation, because last week I was way off. 190. As you recall, last week, I broke like 3 minutes in to that episode rather. I broke the stand that is currently sitting next to me. It is I've had it for, I would say, comfortably about 6 years now. The C+ Comedy itself is 8. And I was twisting it. Let's just do a recap. I was twisting the side that tightens the axis of the arm that is vertical, the vertical axis of the arm. Vertical. Yeah, the vertical. It controls the verticalness of it. The swing part of the arm. And I think what happened after the fact, I looked after the fact. It looks like the screw or the bolt that connects the two of it, I guess it just stripped because there's no traction. It's just going all loosey goosey, man. So now we're back to use. I had to go into my closet, go into my coat closet where apparently this was. And dig out. No, it was in that. It was in a black thing next to me. No, it was in my coat closet. It was in my coat closet in an old box that I used to carry. Fun fact: you don't even know what the box looks like. It's an old. Imagine a box that came with a bunch of reams of paper, and that's what I used to pack my Xbox 360 in when I was going to college. To and from college. Anyway, all that to say is. I had to put the Blue Yeti back on the stand it came with. And it's a darn fine stand, but it's just not for me. Hey, we're about 2 minutes, 33 seconds into this, so let's get on with the episode. Oh, also, I have been laid off, so there's that. You know, an entire year of a pandemic, after a company is bought out, and they say, we're not going to lay anybody off. Your jobs are secure. Don't worry. They tell you that in April. They tell you that in May, June, July, all the way until December. When it gets conspicuously quiet. When they say, hey, man, we managed to get you guys secured in your positions. Cut to 2 weeks ago when they say, hey, buddy, you're gone. Then they give you the boilerplate. Oh, we appreciate what you've done for the company. You're such a company asset. Stop it, Nova. I am telling a story of how I was laid off. And so that's where I am right now. Laid off. No job prospects. During a pandemic. In an industry that is notorious for being tough to A, get in, and B, stay in. And this is where I am. So there we go. That's my life. Now we're 4 minutes in. And all I have left is this stupid website. That makes me $0. But it's all right. That's not what I'm doing it for. I do it because it's great to have. You know, if I was a person who was hiring, if I was a company that was hiring, and this person has been doing a website interviewing comedians, B-list, C-list, and B-list and C-list comedians, and making a weekly podcast and a weekly news show, I would go, you know what? I got to give him a job because I feel so bad for him. His microphone arm broke. All right, so let's get into it. Hey, but at least news time, knock on wood, is going to be the best it's ever been. The best it's ever been because I got all this time now. Okay, let's get into it. WWE Network joins Peacock. This comes from the rap written by Tony Maglio, WWE Network, to fold into Peacock. Excuse me, this thing that had to pop up on the wrap. You turn off your ads for these websites, and then they just give pop-ups all the time. Fold into Peacock as part of their $5 monthly premium tier. Of course, you can also get Peacock with no ads for $10 a month. But who would do that? Oh, you know what? There's another Peacock story later on. So I should move that up. Doing a little producing in the middle of the episode, so no big deal. Please hire me. I'm a very good producer. This show is not indicative of it. WWE Network is going to be moving into Peacock. And this is WWE Network was something I didn't know existed, but it makes total sense. You pay $10 a month to watch all the WWE matches that you possibly can, instead of, having to subscribe to cable or some type of YouTube TV or Sling or something and get TNT and then have to watch it that way. Or, catch up on Fox Broadcasting, where I think Raw is now airing. Instead of TNT, which is what I was saying. But it's beginning March 18th, you're going to be able to do all that with just Peacock. Now, this is interesting because I did report this week on this week's episode of News Time, which is about streaming international, like Netflix and HBO Max and Peacock and Apple TV Plus and the rest of the streaming networks, how streaming works internationally. But I talked about Peacock, and I specifically talked about how Peacock or NBC is dropping NBC Sports and the NBC Sports Network, and they're going to air everything that was on NBC Sports between USA and Peacock. So and then Peacock also has the Premier League, but there's some issues because all the games are airing, in structured blocks as opposed to airing at once. And anyway, whatever. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Watch News Time. It's a very good episode, a really good episode. I am surprising myself for this first month of the 2021, and it's interesting that they're positioning NBC Universal is positioning Peacock as the alternative sports place to go. Whereas ESPN Plus has, all the mainline stuff, and then but it's also ESPN Plus is also, you have to go to the ESPN app, and as opposed to a regular ESPN Plus app where you can watch stuff. Because I used to have Watch ESPN, but now they just folded everything to ESPN proper. And there's no, for now, until Hulu, allows you to access ESPN Plus, which was said was going to be coming in the first half of 2021. They're going to start putting ESPN Plus stuff on Hulu. But now, Peacock is this sports competitor again at $5, whereas ESPN Plus is right now currently $5, but I think they're bumping it up to $6 next month. But this is great to have WWE. I don't watch WWE, but this is great to have all of WWE stuff on there. I really tried. I tried to be a wrestling person, the same way I tried to be a Star Wars person. I really, really tried, and then I just couldn't get the hang of it because it's just not me. And great, I don't like wrestling at all, but I respect the heck out of those people. Good for them. When WWE Network rolls into Peacock, it'll bring more than 17,000 hours of new, original, and library content in both on-demand and 24/7 program channels. Peacock itself boasts more than 47,000 hours of programming. The streaming service within a streaming service will roll out one signature documentary annually, beginning in 2022, the two parties said. Interesting. WWE Network carries, so here's what they have on WWE Network, which will be rolled into Peacock. USA Network's Monday Night Raw and Fox's SmackDown. It also has USA's NXT and original in-ring shows NXT UK and 205 Live. I don't know if that is. Okay, but continuing on with Peacock. Peacock is said to have over 33 million signups. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter, Peacock hits 33 million signups. NBCU earnings drop despite film profit increase. Now, this is talking about the Q4 earnings, which were reported today. NBC, so 33 million signups. And that was before The Office moved from Netflix over to Peacock. Now, people do drop streaming networks or streaming platforms based on shows ending or shows going on hiatus. That's one of the big things that Netflix is trying to stop. They're trying to, that's one of the reasons why they keep putting out stuff, is so that you can find the next thing to be interested in. So, Witcher ends. The Witcher first season ends. And then you go, all right, I'm not interested in Dairy Girls. I've never seen that show. I don't know why I'm picking on it. I'm not interested in this show. So I'm going to stop subscribing, and I'm going to, put that $15 towards something else, assuming that you're paying for, the 4K version or whatever. I don't know why you would, if you're one person and you're streaming, for one show. I would, because I love wasting money, as evident by my bank account and all the streaming services I subscribe to. So, Peacock exceeded 26 million signups at that in December. They had 22 million signups in their quarterly earnings report from before December. And then their film line is not doing too hot, but hold on, I think I saw something else. I think whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, just know that Peacock is doing pretty well for a free service. Same thing for HBO Max. I believe that has 37 million signups, and that was because of Wonder Woman. Please, hey, get away from the camera. There's only one. Go, hey. God, she's being such a little diva. Okay. Oh, also, okay, so let's move. So I moved that one story up. Let's move this other story up. This also comes from THR, written by Natalie Jarvie. And excuse me, I don't know if I mentioned that the other one was written by George Zilai. So this one comes from Natalie Jarvie over at THR. Spotify tests audiobooks with Frankenstein, Jane Eyre, and other literary classics. So those books are in the public domain, so they're allowed to record with them. You're allowed to do whatever you want with that. But Spotify released a small collection on Monday of these books, and now they're going to try to broaden their audio horizons, which I find very interesting that they would jump into the audiobook sector, because you can't really purchase things within. I mean, you can buy tickets and stuff, but you have to be a fan of that artist if you want to buy tickets inside of the. I don't know if you can buy it inside, or the merch inside in the Spotify app, which would, I assume, take you to outside of the app to do so. But jumping into audiobooks would be a very interesting bet for them, more so than podcasts, because audiobooks have been dominated by Audible and the physical media of buying it on disc and stuff. I remember seeing Harry Potter on audio tape and looking at the cassettes, and just, there's so many. And then I saw like a CD version. It was still so many, just so much. The company is characterizing the release as one of many tests that it regularly runs to help it improve its user experience. But in success, the initiative could give a roadmap to how to take on giants in the space. They have a ton of books. I recommend Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is something I read in high school, which you probably read. I don't like Jane Austen, so I'm not going to say read Jane Austen. The Awakening there. That's interesting. Great Expectations, classic book. Jane Eyre, I hate it. There's only one other book I hate more than Jane Eyre, and that is Ready Player One is the worst book in the entire world. Anyway, this would be a cool thing for them to do. Interesting thing for them to hop in. Listen, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have some more stuff to talk about. So let me just unlock the iPad. Here we go. Let's get a break. Welcome back to the show. Just had to make sure that the microphone wasn't unplugged for a second. Oh, the cat's looking at me. She wants to get fed. So, what's it like to be laid off during a pandemic? Again, I wasn't fired. I was laid off because the EW Scripps Company believes it best to lay off an untold number of people during a pandemic. Even though they said, and I believe the president of the company went on CNBC a couple of months ago and talked about how well they were doing. Any hoosers. It just causes a lot of worry, and I just need, a job. But again, I live in a city where, there's a mass exodus of not mass exodus. There's an exodus in California because taxes are so high to shoot there, and so people are leaving. But then now, I guess there's some. I guess a lot of shows are still shooting there, and people are just like leaving California in general. I saw a video on CNBC's YouTube channel that talked about why is there this mass exodus, and people assume that all of that comes to Atlanta, which a lot of it does, but it's just so difficult to land any type of job doing anything there. No, in the industry, and anybody who says it's easy is either a subject of nepotism. Or they've had like one secure gig forever. What are you looking at? Let's move on. YouTube has talked about paying artists and creators on its platform. And apparently, it has paid them more than $30 billion over the last 3 years. That's $10 billion a year, if you can do the math. Written by Julia Alexander over on The Verge. Oh boy, I don't know how to say the CEO's last name. CEO Susan Wojcicki. That's like Wojnarowski from ESPN. And Wojcicki's first letter to creators of 2021, the CEO spent some time addressing YouTube's growth. The number of new channels that joined the company's partner program, which allows creators to earn advertising revenue, more than doubled in 2020. Interesting because they changed the parameters for the partner program, which defunded, which caused a lot of creators to lose their ad dollars. So this is very interesting that they brag about this, because it used to be like if you had first if you had a channel you could monetize any video. Then they turned it to if you had 10,000 subscribers then you can monetize. Anything lower than that you can. And then I think they changed it again, but I don't really know because Seamless Comedy does not have that many subscribers. 113, baby. They're probably all bots. YouTube also contributed approximately $16 billion to the U.S. GDP in 2019, supporting the equivalent of 345,000 full-time jobs, according to an Oxford economics report that Wojcicki highlights. The letter also focuses on the work YouTube's team still has in front of them. Glad that they know that they saw a lot of work. Mainly transparency, which, yeah, this is good, especially where content strikes and advertising dollars are concerned. So YouTube is I would say like the past couple of years, they've just been striking a bunch of videos, and not even like a bunch of videos that were like uploaded recently, just like videos from people's past. And it's whether because a song sounds like a song or no reason at all. I mean, this just happens, and it really. And as much as I hate, YouTube creators, it messes with their money. And I dislike that. I dislike that when someone is even if I dislike them, I'm going to keep reiterating that. Even if I dislike them, they are able to find that crowd and make their hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And then, YouTube has this automated process that just takes away from them. Wojcicki noted that, the Good Lord. Should I pause? Nova's looking at the door. Wojcicki noted that at the, quote, scale we operate, it's hard for creators to keep up with changing community guidelines. And now here comes a boilerplate message, which is how my supervisor started emailing me. As soon as she told me I was laid off, she started sending me boilerplate emails. Oh, God. After Wojcicki's letter states that YouTube wants to be better about communicating changes to avoid strikes. After 3 strikes within a 90-day period, the channel is terminated. Okay. So this is I do like the way that they are moving, but I do think that this transparency thing needs to be. It can be front and center, but there needs to be a quicker style of talking, way of dialogue for them, because you just hear this all the time that somebody's channel has been demonetized. That's the word I was looking for. That a channel has been demonetized, and this person is in the and now they're just like wondering how they're going to get the revenue back. I mean, and since YouTube is truly a monopoly, sometimes people complain, and then somebody always floats the idea of having a YouTube competitor, but there's no one really built for that. Barring even having Google as its parent company, or Alphabet rather. Which is Google basically. there's no possible way for someone to come out of the woodwork now and say, hey, this is going to be a YouTube alternative, because IGTV was trying to do the same thing, and it's safe to say that is very stale, and it's just used as a way to post longer videos on Instagram, longer undiscoverable videos on Instagram. I dislike IGTV so much. I mean, I love that it brings length to videos, but it makes your videos undiscoverable. And as evidenced by when people now post long videos, I see on Paul Scheer's Instagram account, instead of posting like a clip from his Twitch talk show, he cuts it up into 5 1-minute chunks. So because people will see that, versus the IGTV stuff when you post it to your regular account, as this one long video, no one sees it. Anyway, and then Vimeo cannot be a competitor. I think even Spotify, and I think Apple Music does have videos on Apple Music does have videos, but it's the video itself. I mean, but you can't really search a video on Apple Music. At least I don't think. Anyway, Vimeo's like the auteur is YouTube. That's like where I would post a reel or something. I wouldn't post it to YouTube. So there's no competitor. I mean, it's just this is the kind of state. This is the state we live in, I guess, of it all. Hey, let's move on, because I'm not really a huge YouTube head. Speaking of LA, Los Angeles filming hit low records due to the pandemic, reports finds. This comes from THR, written by Bryn Sandberg. I'm going to tell those people to stop having the time of their lives. I'm trying to record my very low subscriber count podcasting. We're in a pandemic. This research comes from Film LA. The organization's latest reports found that production activity picked up considerably in the fourth quarter of last year to reach 734 shoot days. There's a comma between the 7 and 3. But that compared with the same period in the year prior, which was 9,839 shoot days. Maybe that's missing a number. It should be 7,300 something. Yeah. Because why would they have 734 shoot days last year? Even still, I can't find the thing. Oh, I have to sign up? No, I'm not doing that. So let's say 7,300 shoot days compared to 9,839 shoot days. Its overall fourth quarter production was down 25%. The Q4 increase over prior periods in 2020 was largely tied to the return of television production, which this week, as we speak, Gavin Newsom did say that stay-at-home orders are lifted, I guess, and people can go out and stuff, but why? The 3,996 total shoot days for television in Q4 even surpassed 2019 levels. Wow. Just 60% increase, though. Reality TV, which was logistically easy to get up and running amid the pandemic, was the biggest television driver in Q4. Yeah, I think a lot of, because Netflix is looking to do more reality stuff. I read that this week, or heard that this week. That Netflix, because it's easy to produce and it gets you a lot of money. Bling Empire, for instance, those dating shows they do, Death by Dating. Death by Dating is just a bunch of deaf people dating. I think they have a deaf dating show, and then there's an autism dating show. I think, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but they have a lot of dating shows. So yeah, HBO Max and Netflix, and I can even see Disney Plus hopping in there with a bunch of reality stuff. So of course that makes sense for reality shows to do that. I think let's get down to scripted TV categories. They were harder to do, but shows did come back. Blackish, Mixedish, the Goldbergs, all doing their best to keep people away from each other. Like I said, I mentioned on the Goldbergs, there was a wedding episode, and everybody would go in for a kiss, but then it would end up being a hug. A moment where we're supposed to kiss would be a hug, or they cut away from the kiss at the wedding and just turned to the crowd, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, so sad, so beautiful." Scripted shows accumulating. Dramas were about 1,228 shoot days in Q4. Which is boy. And then the total shooting for dramas was 2,412, which is a 46% drop from 2019. Wow. TV comedies had 200 shoot days in Q19. 46% drop from Q4 in 2020. 46% drop from 479 in 2020. 2,331. So that's a huge drop. And then that's not even considering film yet. So we're at a point where these shows need to get made and production needs to be done because the companies are losing money, and as HBO Max can attest to, stars are not getting paid and creators are not getting paid. Stars and producers and directors and writers. The writers, the important people. And they are getting paid. They did previously get paid, but they're not getting paid their full sum, what they deserve and everything. But it's interesting to see all of this happen now. And I'm ready for this pandemic. I just don't know. I just thought it was gonna be 3 weeks. I said, okay, we're gonna have a little camp session at home, and it's gonna be 3 weeks. It didn't turn out to be 3 weeks. That's what every famous person has said on late night TV for the past 8 months. Oh, I thought it was just gonna be a couple of weeks. We're gonna be at home. So stupid. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com. where you can see me interview your favorite comedians. If you want to see a video version of the show, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also see our premiere show, News Time, which is a weekly news show. It's like The Daily Show, except less funny and way less serious. This week, where I take one topic and I talk about it for a long time. This week's episode is about streaming, being a television streamer internationally, and how Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Peacock, CBS All Access, Discovery Plus, HBO Max, how all of those work across the pond. And it's a Love Actually thumbnail and a Love Actually style, the title. I thought it was pretty good. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at C Plus Comedy. Me at Chad Black White. Rate, review, subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Literally wherever you get your podcasts. And it's time for me to go. Goodbye, sucker. It's funny because I keep hitting the same one. It's the wrong one. All right, here's the real outro. Goodbye. I'm going.